facility.
I had to get to the CRA meeting.
Did the Tom 50 yet?
Jerry?
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Jerry Kelly. I'm grants analyst for the city. This discussion involves the State of Florida Division of Cultural Affairs Cultural Facilities Grant for 2014-2015. The Lake Worth CRA intends to apply for $150,000 financial assistance through this grant program. And as a result, they're going to require use of the Shuffleboard Courts Community Center building for a minimum of 10 years from the beginning of the grant cycle, which starts July 1st, 2014. And they will also require in-kind contributions from the city.
$10.
$10.
Has this meeting been called to order yet?
Yes, it has. And we take plastic. Cam, can you make note of an IOU, please, for the Vice Mayor? It was us $10.
Absolutely.
Thank you very kindly. Anyone wants to turn their cell phones off this time? If not, you'll be charged $10.
Well, you really are broke, aren't you?
Hey, every little bit helps, Mr. Tim. I'm
The
sorry.
grant guidelines require a 2-to-1 match from the CRA. And they can include the contributions they receive from private donors as well as from the city. They can also include past improvements that the city has done to the site in the last 5 years. And to date, a total of $95,896 have been made for roof replacement, the parking lot improvements, and restroom to be ADA compliant. We've also hardened the building through a grant from FEMA. We can count the local cost share of $20,026 for that purpose, as well as the installation of the computers, the 10 personal computers that city staff installed with the assistance of the Department of Justice. So that total is $134,000 that the CRA can count as an in-kind contribution from the city. They're further requesting $37,500 in the city's capital improvement plan for 2014 for the design and engineering of these improvements. There are renderings in front of you that show the concept for the interior renovations. This is a phased project in that this initial application will be for the interior improvements only. And they're planning to do removal of the drop ceiling, interior and exterior lighting, painting the inside of the building, installing movable walls, kitchen upgrades, HVAC upgrades, and interior furnishing such as workstations, easels, chairs, and a PA system.
Thank you, City Manager.
First, I'd like to say how we got to this point. In discussions we've been having about making the arts an industry cluster for the city, we've been looking for ways to try to provide venues and places for these types of activities to occur. And loosely based on the Armory Arts Center, which was highly successful in West Palm, and it's grown quite a bit to what it is today. But when it first started out, taking a facility that was sort of an iconic place in the city of West Palm, the Shuffleboard structure is to our purposes as well. And also recognizing that the CRA has made a significant investment in the artist laws. In discussions we've been having with staff and also in the presentation we made about the development of the overall philosophy behind the facility master plan we're working on and looking for best return on investment of money and effort into our governmentally owned facilities. We felt this was a really good use here. And we've had several meetings to talk about how to make this happen. The CRA identified this grant a couple of weeks ago, it wasn't that long ago, and said, you know, here's a cultural grant that we would qualify for. City, you don't qualify to apply, but we do. The problem is, the deadline's June 15th. So this was the first opportunity we could pull everything together, and that's why it's on the budget meeting. So I apologize for that. Sometimes these things happen this way, and again, that's a call that we have to make, to put it on the agenda and bring it to you. It wouldn't normally have happened this way. Secondly, in looking through the grant requirements, it requires a lease or control of the property basically by the CRA in order to be the grant applicant. And that's what you have before you is the lease. I know that there's been a lot of worry and discussion that I've heard about the CRA taking control of the property. I don't share those concerns necessarily. I think the lease is for the purposes expressed. This is all within the discussion we've had about trying to make arts and arts programming a priority for the city, and to push that west of the tracks and parlay the investments already made over there with the artist laws. So I apologize for it being on this agenda. It's unfortunate that we didn't have a lot of lead time and understanding that these grants were out there, but these are things that are happening fairly quickly. And I thought it was important to bring it forward and work with the CRA to have this happen. I'd be happy to answer any questions or discuss anything further if you want to delve more into it.
Any questions? Commissioner Boyd?
I don't have the backup, so I'm a little bit at a disadvantage on some of the details, but I know that I tried to get it through the website and didn't have any luck.
Do you want me to give you a minute? You can look through it.
That might be a good idea.
Commissioner, 30? No problem.
Thank you. I understand what you're just saying, city manager, about the timing here. We talked about it. I noticed on the drawings that had a date of March 20th on the drawings of the renderings attached. So this idea has been germinating for a while, because if the drawings are dated that, then they would have been instructed to, you know, cultivate this thing, this idea, which you have been for a while. I don't know how much, you know, until this grant opportunity has come before us, how much other vetting has this taken place outside of tonight?
We've talked about it among staff. I've mentioned it in several meetings with individuals. I mentioned it in the overall discussion of the master plan in those discussions. We felt that it's a grant application. You're still going to have to approve it. And we have time to flesh out more of the business model if need be. We didn't want to pass this opportunity to snag some cash from other people's money, or as they say, but the state money for these purposes, and to bring it back here for this.
May I continue?
Yes, please.
Thanks. Thanks, Mike. I just think that, and I know you were saying we can't help this, but this, and we've talked about this before. I've seen this in all, and seen this idea. I think it's a really good idea, by the way. I do personally, and a good use of that property and a good reuse of the structure to open it up and take advantage of what's there.
Sure.
And it's hidden by the ceiling. So I think the idea is real good. I just know that there's concern for how this is happening at this last minute type of thing. And, you know, from my memory banks, which is sometimes questionable, but things have happened in past commissions and all where at the last minute something happens. And that's something that we're trying to avoid and actually stay out ahead of. And from our grant writer, when was that grant that we're going for? When was it originally advertised, Jerry?
I heard about it 3 weeks ago.
But I mean, it comes out in publication, and so our grant writer, who identified this opportunity?
I saw it through one of our search engines with eService. We subscribe to that for that very reason.
Sure.
That's